Why did international human rights law become essential? Imagine a world where governments could do whatever they wanted to their people without consequences. It might sound like a nightmare, but that was often the case before international human rights law. When terrible events like genocide, torture, and mass killings happened during the first half of the 20th century, the world realized something had to change. Countries were treating their own citizens like they were disposable, and there was little to stop them. After the horrors of World War II, especially the Holocaust, the world saw that these abuses could no longer be ignored. It became clear that protecting human dignity was a shared responsibility, not just a matter for individual countries. That's when international human rights law started to take shape. The United Nations, formed in 1945, played a big role in this shift. In 1948, they adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which set out basic rights everyone should have. Even though it was not legally binding, it created a common standard for nations to follow. The main reason this law became essential is because of the terrible atrocities committed during the war. Countries needed rules to prevent future genocide and war crimes. It also recognized that every person, no matter where they come from, has equal worth and deserves respect. This idea of universal dignity became a guiding principle for many laws and treaties that followed. Another factor was the growing understanding that peace depends on respecting human rights everywhere. If one country abuses its people, it can cause instability that spreads to neighboring nations and beyond. Leaders realized that respecting human rights was key to maintaining global peace and security. Before this, sovereignty meant that a country could do whatever it wanted within its borders. But international human rights law challenged that idea. It said that governments had responsibilities to their citizens that the international community could hold them accountable for. This was a big change in how the world viewed the role of governments. Over time, the law expanded to protect vulnerable groups like women, children, refugees, and persons with disabilities. It recognized that these groups often face extra challenges and needed special protections. Legal mechanisms were created to make sure rights were not just ideals but enforceable. Countries agreed to monitor each other's progress and allow individuals to complain if their rights were violated. This made human rights a real part of international law, not just words on paper. In everyday life, international human rights law influences how governments write their laws and how international organizations work. It gives activists and courts tools to challenge abuses and push for justice. It also shapes social expectations about fairness and respect for all people. From the perspective of society, culture, and government systems, this law reflects a collective effort to build a world where power is limited and shared values are upheld. It's essential because it turns moral ideas into legal standards that protect individuals and help keep social order across nations.